Have you ever heard of Jiu-Jitsu shenanigans or JJS on Roblox? If so, you probably know about the fandom, or at least the players. I don't know if you call it fan base or players. Anyway, you probably know how they behave by now, but I swear they feel so freaking stupid. And what I'm gonna show you is clips of me and my friend playing together, and he calls me a runner throughout all of it. And I don't understand why. It's like JJS players, or just Battleground players in general, cannot understand the concept of a tactical retreat or repositioning, because some positions in a fight are better than others in Roblox games. So obviously I'd move towards them when I have the chance. However, it appears my friend does not know this, because any general backwards movement he would call running, even when he ran up an entire tower, and he did not consider that running. I do not understand this thing that I call my friend. And I'm not sure why we're still friends, besides that, I guess, well, we play Roblox together. That's literally the only reason we're friends at this point, I'm sure. Because he acts so freaking stupid, like, bruh. Morning, watching these clips may give you a severe headache, because, oh my goodness, he sure acted pretty silly. Most of it was just me talking, because he just wasn't really fighting for most of it, I think. Because he wanted to call me a runner. I wasn't a runner. And, you'll see it soon. Oh, before I get into the video, though, just a reminder, any voice you hear during the clips is not from the actual clip, because I had my mic off the entire time, and I didn't realize I had my mic off, because I was mostly just focusing on recording just how dumb he was acting this entire time. And it'll be pretty hard to see what's going on, because for some reason this phone screen always records weird. Just keep in mind, this voice is me currently here viewing the clips, so I'm not, actually speaking in any of these. So any comments I make, I wasn't actually making at the time of the video. I'm actually just saying them now. This first clip was mostly boring because for some reason he was, not really, around. I didn't want to, use my private server commands, because he always got on my nerves ruining my tactical positioning in his server, so I didn't want to ruin the entire experience for him. But I'm gonna be honest, when he would tactical reposition, I'm not sure if I captured it in the clips, but he ran up an entire tower in one of these clips, and he did not consider himself running. Mind you, when I would just walk backwards to dodge an attack, he would call me a runner. If I were to get out of the way because, Nalia, or head of the hay, as he's called in JJS, he can't really spam his abilities aggressively like other characters. So I was quite literally in a situation where I could not be too aggressive with my ability, or I would be heavily punished. I do not want that. I mean, who wants to lose like that? Because at that point, I lost because my own moveset was rigged against me. Nobody wants to lose like that. And so I have to play somewhat defensively. And of course, if you play defensively, you're not going to want to just be rushing in your opponent's face, especially while they have a much more spammable character than yours is. Remember, the only moves in Nalia's entire moveset that don't fill up his frame meter, and I'm talking about his frame meter, not the opponent's, are Bleed Out and Vengeance. And Vengeance is literally an ult move, and if you get hit during it, you'll accidentally activate your ult, or maybe purposefully. It's essentially a counter. I do not want to be rushing at someone when getting hit means getting put in a frame that I believe doubles the damage that I take. That would be extremely stupid, and I am not stupid enough to get myself in that scenario. So obviously I have to play defensively. I literally cannot play too offensively with the character I chose, but of course he has to call me a runner. Mind you, head of the hay, or now whatever you want to call him, is incapable of playing purely offensively simply due to the fact that most of your moves fill up over half, if not half, of the projection or glass bar, or whatever you want to call it. If I got put in a frame a lot in those 1v1s, I'd easily lose due to taking more damage than normal. So obviously, the best move is to simply not get hit. But of course, I get called a runner whenever I choose to not get hit. Because I guess he can't accept that, I'm supposed to get away and stay out of the way of his attacks. He said, it's a fighting game, so you're meant to get hit. I said, no, you're not meant to get hit. You're supposed to avoid getting hit. Because if I lose HP, I can die. If I don't get hit, I won't die. And if I don't die, then I can eventually win. If I win, then guess what? I didn't die. This is literally what you're supposed to do in a fighting game. But of course, if I defend myself at all instead of rushing in like a freaking Saiyan from Dragon Ball Z, all of a sudden I'm the runner. Bro. I mean, humans evolved into this, by the way. I don't understand how humans, and I quote, evolved to this point where people consider just moving away from an attack to be running. Okay, so the clip's still going on in the background. You can keep watching it, but I'm going to be explaining what I believe is a runner and what isn't, so you understand where I'm coming from. In my opinion, there's a ginormous difference between someone who is explicitly running from a fight and someone who is simply seeking a better position for the fight so that they can have a better advantage in combat. So let's look. A runner. A runner purely runs. They don't actually fight back. However, I'm not sure if I actually got any clips of us fighting because he was basically avoiding fights most of the time if I didn't explicitly state to him that we were going to fight, in the fighting game. Why do you need to initiate a fight verbally in a fighting game when you know we're going to be fighting in the fighting game? If anything, you're the runner for that. However, whilst a runner will completely abandon a situation and not fight back, a person using tactical repositioning usually is only moving outward so that they have more time to react to certain moves. Like, for example, I personally loved to move around in a sort of circle so I could, mess up his idea of range, so it's easier for me to close a gap or hit a certain ability, because if I can't hit abilities, then I can't deal damage. If I can't deal damage, I can't win. But also, if I take too much damage, then my health bar will hit 0 and I will die. The entire point of a fighting game is to get tactical. And I'm not even going low blows here. I'm legit just moving and using the map that C, or however you may say his name, made the map. He made this map with spots where you could move, and I wasn't actually running away from the fight specifically. I was simply seeking to not lose all my HP. And during certain fights that I'm not certain I actually caught on camera, he was using Higuruma. Mind you, Higuruma is a character who has a insta-kill ultimate. I cannot fight that. It is literally impossible for me to fight that because it is a insta-kill. Mind you, I'm using Naoya. Naoya has no insta-kill. So I was trying my best to go offensive as a character who mostly relies on defense anyway. Naoya isn't entirely defense, but the way the game, structures his combat forces you to be defensive, or you will literally always lose because you can get trapped in your own frames, and I do not want to get trapped in my own frames. Obviously, I'm going to play a bit defensively when my only move that doesn't risk me being put in a freaking glass pane is on cooldown. Now, I get it. If I was actually, sprinting away from the scene, I would understand why I thought I was running, but there's a difference between moving to a better position for a battle, like moving inside a building and expecting someone to chase you, and, trying to slip up and run into entirely different areas without actually, fighting. But I was actually trying to deal damage. It's just really hard to deal damage with a character who's basically entirely melee with a little dashes, and every single miss as that character will put you in danger of putting yourself in a glass pane. That increases the amount of damage that you take. I am not a fool. Obviously, I'm going to take a more tactical approach in a game that has an option to be tactical, and I don't understand why he was dumb enough to believe the things that he said, because he actually believes that I'm a runner. There is a difference between moving inside a building or moving inside an alleyway to restrict your opponent's movement and get in a better position for hitting an attack, and explicitly running from a fight. I was clearly just repositioning myself, but of course somebody like him wouldn't know that, because he expects everybody to rush in head first, completely blind. I cannot do that. As Naoya, or head of the A, I have literally 0 counters besides my ult, and even that's not actually a counter, it's just an ult. His ult Vengeance works in a specific way that's very awkward to use. I mostly just use it to try to get a second stab, but if you get hit during it, you trigger ult, and your actual ult is a lot different than the Vengeance stab that you can do if you don't get hit. And I don't know how the normal stat works. It kind of seems like just a regular version of Bleed Out, which is an existing attack in Naoya's moveset. But, if you get hit during it, your opponent will grab the knife out of Naoya's hand, stab him in the chest, and he'll say "no way" or whatever it was. I'm not sure what he actually says. And he falls to the floor and he turns into a cursed spirit, at which point your ultimate phase begins, and you can use your domain expansion to turn back into your human self later. And if you don't turn back into your human self, I think you just kind of die. Yeah. Anyway, I believe I used ult exactly once in this entire session, and these clips are only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to what actually happened behind the scenes. Mind you, almost every 1v1, if not every 1v1 we did off camera, I had won, because my tactical positioning just literally was better than his aggression. So he was mad because he lost, I'm assuming, to somebody who he believed was inferior because they played defensively. I don't get it, because playing defensively is a, valid strategy in quite literally every single game known to mankind. I'm gonna be honest, I don't get how I'm a runner, because the truth is, runners can't win fights. If I won any fight, that means that I had to be playing actually offensively in some way. That means I was fighting back. It seems I run upon a actual clip of us fighting, so you can watch that in the background while I talk. I'm not actually running here. I'm moving to a better position because it seemed like I was getting really close to a wall. And if you have played any fighting game, you know you do not get walled. Notice I'm running here. I'm actually trying to hit him. So this isn't me running at all. I'm actually trying to fight back because, you know, you can only win a fighting game by dealing damage. And I am dealing damage here. If you look closely, I have been trying the entire time to hit him. He's the one bouncing around like a freaking rabbit, making it really hard for me to land my abilities. And I'm not going to try spamming my abilities, because if I spam my abilities, I get put in a glass pane and I will take more damage. If I take more damage, it's easier for me to lose. I do not want to lose. And I'm pretty sure nobody likes losing. So obviously, I'm going to try to not play too aggressively here. Notice I'm moving in a circle around him. A runner would not move in a circle around him. They would dart immediately to the screens. And when he tried standing on a trash can, I grabbed it from under him and threw it. Because, well, yeah. I don't understand why. I just kind of did it. Now, having my mic on would have definitely helped me remember, but of course I had my freaking mic off for literally every single one of these clips. Now, if you've been watching this closely, you'll notice just how quickly he called me a runner. Even though I'd been fighting back the entire time and actually going on the offensive end, it's just really hard for me to go on offense when, you know, every single move is a ticking time bomb to getting crit attacked by my own players. I do not like that. So obviously I have to play a bit defensively. I ran around this building because I expected him to chase me, which would give me better positioning. And I know he likes to call me a runner for this, but if you really think about it, I'm just being smarter than he was. Because, I mean, come on. I was not being a runner in this fight. I'm just playing a character who sucks at, you know, playing offense. More specifically, if you struggle, which, you know, it's really hard aiming on people, especially given how large my fingers are compared to phone I use. So, you know, turning feels like trying to control a tank for me sometimes. I actually beat him once. I don't know if I beat him on screen, but I don't know what characters we were using. I know for sure I was using Head of the Hay or Nalia, but I'm not completely sure what character he used. Either way, I had won that off screen. It was when we first got in the server, and it was at that point that I realized he's stupid. Any form of self-defense is classified as being a runner. I swear, bro, this guy, literally the second, like, he got told in the tactical retreat, he'd call his commander, or whatever they have in the military, a runner, the enemy soldiers to, you know, not be a runner, and then immediately get shot down, bro. This guy ain't surviving no war. He wouldn't survive the Napoleonic Wars, World War I, World War II, freaking Vietnam, none of those wars. Matter of fact, bro might not even survive the caveman times for even a day, because this guy does not know when it is okay to move away unless it's only on his end. Like, bro, when he runs away, it isn't running, it's not running. He literally doesn't give an explanation besides nuh-uh. But when I move away, all of a sudden I'm a bad guy. I'm a runner. I'm a coward. Bruh. Why? Why must I be cursed with people who don't understand how to play a fighting game defensively? Every fighting game has some form of defense. Tekken has defensive playstyles. Mortal Kombat played freaking defensively. Basically, every single fighting game has some sort of defensive option. No counter in every ability I had would literally get me in trouble. I do not need that. I am fighting somebody who has a character that has a one-shot ability. You, of all people, should know this if you're watching this as a JJS fan. If you're not a JJS fan, then I guess to the rules of fighting games, but without getting maximum charge, but he started to call me a runner after this. Mind you, I literally have like half my moveset confiscated. I quite literally cannot fight back here. Even if I wanted to, I'm at a severe disadvantage because he has his full moveset, whilst I don't even have my full moveset. I have 2 moves out of 4 moves, and you don't realize that in a fighting game like Jiu-Jitsu Shenanigans, where your entire fighting style is limited to mostly just your abilities in terms of damage, losing half your moveset doesn't just remove 50% of your firepower, it removes roughly 75 to 90% of it depending on the character you use. So yeah, my friend is a piece of crap. Anyway, this video is over. I hope you enjoyed me yapping your head off. Yay. Anyway, the next video I'm releasing will probably be a Animal Hospital one, considering I already have new clips from trying to play the game with my little brother. So, congrats. You might be getting a video soon, or maybe not, because how long it takes to edit these things.